Merry Christmas, viewers of the Dugout. My gift to you this year is a contentious Hall of Fame discourse that I'm sure everyone will agree with and will make no one mad whatsoever. Welcome to the Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva, and like I said, we are doing the Hall of Fame eligibility. I'm telling you what 10 players I would personally vote for this year's Hall of Fame ballot. I know you're going to disagree with a couple of them, but before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe to the Run the Play Network. The in-season tournament is officially over, and I, for one, would love to see Anthony bitch about how the Thunder played in the final, and I think you guys should too. Now we begin with the most obvious Hall of Famer, I think, on the list, and that's Billy Wagner. He's in his final year of eligibility. He was at 72%. You need 75 to get inducted. I think this is finally the year Billy Wagner gets in. There's a serious lack of relievers in the Hall of Fame, and it's really Billy Wagner that exemplifies this the best. For his career, he's a 7-time All-Star with a 2.31 career ERA, good for a 1.87 ERA+. Second all-time if he qualifies. Whip under 1, 3 walks per 9, less than a home run per 9, 11.9 strikeouts per 9, which would be one of the highest all-time, again, if he qualified. But the big thing with him is, he didn't throw that many innings. He's not what you think of as one of the top-tier closers in baseball history. You think Rivera, you think Chapman, you think Hoffman, you think Jansen. You don't think Kimbrel anymore, but at his peak, you think Craig Kimbrel. And Billy Wagner is not one of those names that is at the forefront of your mind, but he really should be, because these are some of the most dominant innings ever thrown by a reliever. And with the way the game is shifting too, is that there needs to be a re-examination of how relievers are treated by the Hall of Fame and what we look at. And if we can't get Billy Wagner in as a Hall of Famer, I think names you're going to see down the line, like maybe a Johan Duran, Emmanuel Clase, some of the top closers in the league right now, are going to have a really difficult time coming in because they're going to be measured against the big three that's coming in the next 10 years. I think Wagner has to get into the Hall of Fame. He's too dominant of a pitcher not to. Now in his second year of eligibility, Chase Utley, I think, is ready to get into the Hall of Fame. I know it's a little soon, but he has a career of 64.5 WAR, 275 career average, 259 home runs, 1,025 RBIs, and 823 OPS, good for a 117 OPS plus. His career accolades include 7 All-Star appearances, 4 Silver Sluggers, and that 2008 World Championship with the Phillies. And the big knock against him is, the counting stats aren't there. He doesn't have the 2,000 hits. But to counter that point, if you look at his career, he was a backup player with the Dodgers for the last few years of his career. So that really hurt his chances. He could have started on some bad Marlins teams, some bad Pirates teams. But he was really instrumental in helping nurturing that young Dodgers core at the time. And that's something like you have to take into account, or at least I hope voters take into account when looking at his counting stats, is he could have chased numbers somewhere else, but he was committed to winning. And I really think that should not be held against him when you're looking at his counting stats. And on top of that, too, he's just an underrated defender at second base. He led in the NL in total zone 3 straight years, 17th all-time. 30 seasons leading the league in range factor, and his 7-year peak WAR is higher than a lot of second basemen currently in the Hall of Fame. Again, it's the counting stats that are really going to be held against him, but I think you got to let it go, man. He chose to pursue winning instead of numbers. Don't ding him for it. Let him in the Hall of Fame. He's a fantastic player. A little underrated all time, too, I think. Now, speaking of underrated all-time, Andrew Jones is in his 8th year in eligibility, and he's just kind of stuck in the 60s right now. We need to get him up there because, quite frankly, he is the best defensive center fielder of all time. 62.7 career WAR, a 254 average, 434 home runs, which puts him within the top 50 all-time. 823 career OPS, good for a 111 OPS plus. And like I said, just one of the best defenders in center field ever. Led the NL in defensive WAR in 98, 2000, 2001, 2002. 22nd all-time in defensive WAR. And leader in numerous advanced defensive metrics in the primitive stages, not the StatCast outs above average or arm strength or any of that. And the eye test really just shows like he was dominant in his peak, not only as a center fielder defensively, but he had a lot of power in that bat. You're looking at those years with the Dodgers, I think did him more harm than good, honestly, is he was not a great defender with us. He wasn't a great hitter with us. And it really kind of taints the Andrew Jones legacy a little bit, unfortunately. You have to let him in, though, because defensively, we underestimate players all the time. We look at the sexy numbers like home runs, hits, all that. But defense is just as important. Web gems are jaw-dropping, and there was no one better in their prime at producing web gems than Andrew Jones himself. Now, this one's going to hurt a little bit, but I have Carlos Beltran as a Hall of Famer. And the big knock against him is the 2017 World Series, the cheating scandal, how he was allegedly the ringleader of the whole thing. But it doesn't take away that much from him all time. Yes, you're going to take away a World Series from him. I don't think it should count when you're looking at his accolades in his career. But he did not have a great final year in Houston, if we're being honest here. Like, the career numbers just speak for themselves. He has 70.1 career WAR, 279 average, 435 home runs, 1,587 RBIs, 312 stolen bases, a career 837 OPS, good for a 119 OPS plus. He's a fantastic power speed guy, one of the best of all time. Baseball Reference's power speed has him 9th all time. And he has a Rookie of the Year award, 9 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves, 2 Silver Sluggers. Beltran's not someone you think of as one of the premier outfielders of the 2000s. You know, that's obviously going to be Barry Bonds, your Andrew Joneses, 1 year of Jacoby Ellsbury. But Beltran had consistency and was solid throughout. You take away the World Series, he still has tons of accolades. Great power speed guy. I think the penalty has been applied, so you're going to see that number shoot way, way up this year. I don't think he's going to get in, but he's going to get close, and I think that's what's best for him. Now, my first controversial choice. I have Felix Hernandez in his first year of eligibility being a Hall of Famer. And I think this is a great litmus test of what starting pitching inductions are going to look like in the next 20, 15 years. Because quite frankly, his career was derailed by injuries. He doesn't have the counting stats that a lot of great pitchers do. But at his peak, he was dominant. For his career, he has the 2010 AL Cy Young, which I think might be one of the most important Cy Young wins of all time, due to the fact that, you know, it was most wins on a playoff team gets you the Cy Young award. And he comes in and he wins it with, I think he had 10, 11 wins that year, but just, you know, dominant strikeout numbers, dominant ERA. And I wasn't really sure if he was going to win it. He kind of changed how we see the Cy Young voting now, because if he doesn't win that Cy Young, I think it's very likely Jacob deGrom does not get his too. So we need to give him credit for that. He's got 6 All-Stars, 2 ERA titles, and of course, the iconic perfect game as well. Career-wise, he threw 2,792 innings with a 3.42 ERA, 2.7 walks per 9, 8.3 strikeouts per 9, which is 70th all-time, less than a home run per 9, and a 3.52 career FIP. And again, just a dominant pitcher in his prime. Because if you're looking at traditional counting stats, it's CC Sabathia and then Kershaw, Greinke, Verlander, and Scherzer. After that, you really got to change how you look at pitchers going forward. And I really think Felix Hernandez deserves a closer look on this ballot here. Because at his prime, he was the king of Seattle. King Felix himself. Dominant pitcher, must-watch TV. I think he deserves it. I don't know if he's going to get it, though. I just wish he stays on another year to get a good look. Also in his first year of eligibility is Dustin Pedroia. The 2008 AL MVP also has a Rookie of the Year the year before, 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 4 Gold Gloves, and a Silver Slugger. For his career, he hit 299, 140 RBIs, 140 home runs, 725 RBIs, 805 OPS, 113 OPS plus, 5th all-time in total zone at second base, and his WAR per 9 or WAR per 162 is higher than a lot of Hall of Fame second basemen. And again, it's one of those career cut short by injuries really stopped him from racking out the counting stats. Thank you, Manny Machado, for that one. But again, if you look at it, he was part of that Red Sox team that broke the curse of the... Oh, no, he actually wasn't part of that team. I'm sorry. But, you know, he was part of 2 great Red Sox teams that won World Series. He delivered a lot of great moments. He was just a fantastic second baseman. arguably the best second baseman the entire time he played in the league. It's just the injuries cut him short. He didn't get to the 2,000 career hits number, which is kind of the soft cap when you're talking about Hall of Fame hitters, unfortunately. But again, I like to see what you kind of do at your prime, and he's sustained it long enough to say, like, I am a Hall of Famer. The 2 rings and the MVP are going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting for him. But don't discount him defensively. Don't discount him offensively. He is a great player. One of the defining Boston Red Sox, I think, should have a shot at the Hall of Fame. Now, one of the players for sure that we know is getting in this year is CC Sabathia, the 2007 Cy Young winner, had 6 All-Star appearances in his career and had a fantastic playoff run in 2009, winning ALCS MVP that year and also the World Series championship for the Yankees, their 27th and most recent World Series. Sorry about that one, guys. Now, overall, he's one of the last few pitchers with the great counting stats. 251 career wins, 3,577 innings pitched, 3.74 ERA, 1.26 grip, 2.8 strikeouts per 9, 2.8 walks per 9, 7.8 strikeouts per 9, a home run per 9, 3.78 FIP. And overall, he is just a dominant pitcher all throughout. He had the iconic run with the Indians. He had that iconic half season with Milwaukee. Sorry. And overall, he is one of the last true great workhorse pitchers over in baseball. And I think he deserves to be recognized as such. He's going to get in, no question about it. Well deserved. The only question is, what cap should he go in? I know people are saying Brewers, but give him the Yankees cap, man. He deserves it. Before I tell you about our most controversial Hall of Fame pick, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Man, okay, LeBron hit my parlay. Let's get it.
Oh shit, he hit it?
Yeah, bro. Look at this.
I won $200. I told you parlay.
How the heck did you win $200?
I used Boom Fantasy. I used their pick and spin, spun the wheel, got 10 times my money.
Bro, you gotta hook me up.
If you use code RTP, you could get a risk-free bet up to $100. Let's get back to the video.
And now, he's not getting in, but damn it, I really want to talk about Ben Zobrist here. I know there's going to be a Foolish Baseball video coming out in the next few days about this, so I don't want you guys to think I'm getting my talking points from him. I truly believe Ben Zobrist is a Hall of Famer. His career accolades, he's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion with the Royals in 2015 and the Cubs in 2016, where he won World Series MVP for that iconic double in the 10th. Career stats, 44.5 career WAR, 266 average, 167 home runs, 768 RBIs, 783 OPS, good for a 113 OPS plus. And for me, the main reason he should be getting in is he really invented a new role in baseball, which is the ultra super utility man, whatever you want to call it. It's by position. He played 911 games at second base, 236 at shortstop, 233 at left field, 266 in right field. And you kind of see how this changes how teams build their lineups. You got to have one of those super utility guys, whether it's an Austin Romine, a Kike Hernandez. You need a Ben Zobrist, and none of them are as good as Ben Zobrist, quite frankly. As he could have had a fantastic career at shortstop. But, he did what needed to be done in order to help that Rays team out in the long term. And it ultimately paid off, as they did go to the World Series in 2008, only to lose to the Phillies at the time. But he provided, great leadership and really created a new mold for how teams and rosters are built going forward. I don't think Mookie Betts would be a second baseman or a shortstop now for next season if it wasn't for Ben Zobrist. They would just keep him in right field. But Zobrist shows that you can play multiple positions at a high level. And I think, too, the ceiling argument for him is that double in Game 7 in 2016. I don't think every player that has an iconic hit in the playoffs should be getting in. Travis Ishikawa is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. As much as I love the Rajai Davis home run, he is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. But that doesn't take away from the value and what that means for Zobrist going forward. Ultimately, he's not getting in, but damn it, he really, really should. Torrey Hunter is up next. He's in his 5th year of eligibility. 5-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger, 50.7 career WAR, 277 average, 333 home runs, 1,391 RBIs, 191 stolen bases, 793 OPS, good for a 110 OPS plus. Torrey Hunter I think a lot of people say he's Hall of Very Good, but man, I love me some Torrey Hunter. He was on some great Tigers teams, some great Angels teams. One of the best arms in the outfield ever. 4 seasons leading the league in outfield assists. And I think we gotta, going back to Andrew Jones, recognize good defenders when we have them. Again, the bat's not there, but you know who the good players are with the bat. It's very hard to see who the good players are defensively. And granted, I'm a little biased. I love Torrey Hunter. He's always one of those players I looked up to growing up. And he's that one weird pick you gotta have on the ballot. I mean, for God's sakes, last year I voted Andre Ethier for purely sentimental reasons. So let me have this one. He's not the best, but I still think he deserves a good shot and a good look at the Hall of Fame overall. Now the one we've been waiting for. The first player that I fell in love outside of my beloved Dodgers, Ichiro Suzuki. In his first year of eligibility, he has a 2001 MVP, a Rookie of the Year, 10-time All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Sluggers, 2 batting titles, the All-Star Game in 2007, and by the way, he was the last hitter to break a big career milestone, and that is the single-season hits record. We could talk about Aaron Judge's American League home run record and all that, and how that is the true home run single-season record, but Ichiro did it in hits. No one is even going to get close to that ever again with the high velocity in today's game and how much Luis Arraez, quite frankly, sucks. But he redefined almost what it means to be a Japanese player in baseball. He came over so late, but still managed to get 3,000 career hits from the age of 27 to 40. That is actually fucking insane if you think about it. Because no one in today's game, I think, is going to hit 3,000 hits for as good hit tools as you see a lot of players have. The emphasis is on power and all that. And if you believe people in Japan, he gave up a lot of his powers to be the hit king, slap it in the infield, sprint on down. He is some of the most exciting baseball to watch. He is one of the most beloved players of all time. Like, I could go on for Ichiro anecdotes all day, but I'll just go ahead and tell you personally, my favorite is, everyone knows about Decoy Otani and whatnot, but the media wanted to know Ichiro's dog's name, and he's like, sorry, I don't have his permission to tell you his name. Overall, just a super lovable guy. There's a reason why it's talked about, is Ichiro going to get in unanimously? Because he is truly that good. Elite base runner. Perhaps one of the greatest contact bats since, like, Ty Cobb, I want to say, if not further back. He truly is that great of a contact hitter. Great defensively in the outfield. He put up 60 career WAR with some of his best years being played in Japan. He is truly the greatest Japanese baseball player of all time. For the time being, Shohei will get there, but that does not discount what Ichiro does. He really, really made a lot of people fall in love with baseball and really set the path now for a lot of the Japanese players to come over. I love him. You love him. Everyone loves him. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Or are you going to be one of those voters that vote against him? Let me know in the comments down below. I know you disagree with some of these picks. Start a fight in the comments. I would love to talk about this with you guys. And as always, don't forget, on the way out, happy holidays, happy New Year, and play ball.